Hi, I'm Gabrielle, and welcome to my brand new channel, Wisps of Wisdom. Before I get started interviewing other people about their stories, their experiences, and their advice, I just want to go ahead and take this video to introduce myself and introduce my channel a little bit. So when interviewing these people, I have two questions that I plan to ask each of them. And the way the question is worded will look a little bit different depending on who I'm asking it to. And so, for instance, if someone is going to be sharing their story about how they dated, then I would ask them, what is the best piece of advice you ever received about dating, and what advice would you give about dating? Whereas if someone was talking about modesty, then I would ask, what's the best piece of modesty advice you ever received, and what piece of advice would you give to others when talking about modesty? So in introducing myself, I decided to tell a little bit of my story of something that has really changed my life and brought me to where I'm at today in my relationship with God, in my relationship with my parents, in my relationship with my friends. Like, it really just changed my outlook on life, my perspective, and it changed the way I live my life. I've been dealing with health issues for about 4 years, and when I first started dealing with my health issues, the hardest part of it for me was that it really handicapped me in a lot of areas, and I really felt like God was ruining my life, and I had given Him my life. I had asked Him to use it in some way so that I could serve Him, and it felt like He was taking that and just ruining it. But I trusted that somehow He would bring something good out of it. I just didn't know how or what that would look like. And then about 2 years in, a boy from my class in school was in an accident where he was hit in the head by an airborne snowmobile and was critically injured. And as he was in the hospital, his brain was swelling, he had fluid on his brain, and people were praying and praying for him, but it really didn't look good. And finally, as his kidneys were shutting down, he was saying goodbye to his family. But his dad went into a room to pray, and as he was praying, God gave him a vision, and his son was being held captive by Satan. And when in this vision his dad saw this, he prayed, God, please let Satan be bound and set my son free in Jesus' name. And when he went back into his son's hospital room, his kidneys were working again, the fluid was going down on his brain, the swelling was going down, and within a matter of days, he was back out of the hospital, and he is a healthy young man today. And because I had been someone who was praying for him at this point, I was so encouraged to see that God heal him. But at the same time, it was really discouraging, and it was hard for me to grapple with the fact that God had chosen to heal my friend, but He hadn't healed me. And that my friend had only had to deal with pain and suffering for a couple days, and I had been dealing with it for 2 years and would probably deal with it for the rest of my life. So as I was grappling with this, I went on a walk one day, and I just asked God, if this is me being bound by Satan, and that's why I'm sick, then please, in Jesus' name, let Satan be bound and set me free. And but then I also prayed, God, if this is a test, if this is somehow something that's supposed to glorify you by me dealing with all this sickness and this pain, then please give me the strength and the grace to endure, and help me somehow be able to glorify you through this. And it didn't go away. But I had a lot of peace in knowing after that God was using my health issues to be able to bring glory to Him, and that was where God wanted me, that it wasn't that I had done something wrong, it wasn't that Satan was using it to somehow hurt me and others, that this was something God was using, and that He was making me better through it and helping other people through it. And so after that, then I began to take the focus more off of me and how I felt and how God was using it. And that was really big in me being able to get to a point of being able to be thankful for my health issues. Because after that, as I began to look for how God would be using it, then I began to see that other people who were hurting and other people who were in pain could come to me, and we could sort of share each other's burdens. And God gave me a lot of joy and peace in my sickness and in my pain. And as I was able to smile in the midst of feeling so sick and in the midst of going through a lot of hard things, a lot of people wanted to know, how can you smile? How can you laugh? How can you be so fun? How can you still do things if you feel so horrible? And the truth was, I'm going on God's strength, not on mine. I would go, even just to go away from home, I had to pray, God, please give me the strength to do this, because I can't do it on my own. And that is something that has changed my life forever. It has changed the way I look at God. God isn't just my maker, He's my sustainer. He's the one that gets me through every day. And many mornings when I wake up, my prayer is, God, I need you today, because I can't do this on my own. And He is always faithful to help me to do what He wants me to do and to be in His will. The best piece of advice that I could give to someone who's going through something hard is to remember that God promises that He will work all things out for good for those who love God and are called according to His purpose. Remember, there's a bigger plan, there's a bigger picture. God is still good even when life isn't. And that's a really important thing to remember when you're going through something hard, because it's easy to focus on what's really hard about it, and all you can think to pray is, God, please take this from me. But when we can remember that God is using everything for good, even when it's not good, that we are part of a bigger plan, a bigger picture, and we can have joy in the midst of pain. Like, I have experienced so much joy and so many blessings from being sick and from having pain, because God has been so real in those times. It has brought me closer to Him. It has given me a ministry to people who are hurting, and I have been able to have empathy and for those who are going through hard things. And so I can say now, I'm grateful for my health issues, even though I would have never asked for them, and I would love if God would take them away. I'm thankful for them because of what it's doing in my life. So just remember, God is still good even when life isn't, and He has a purpose and plan in everything, and He often uses the hard things in our life to bring the most beauty.